Hi, my name's Cameron Carlson with AnimeLocation.tv. I'm here at Colossalcon 2015 with Mr. Steve Blum. How you doing?
I'm doing very well.
How you doing? All right, now it's been a long time since we got the chance to talk to you. It was back in 2005, so almost 10 years ago. How's it been since then?
We're all so much more mature now, aren't we? We were children then, children, drooling and falling on ourselves, soiling our diapers. No, things are good. Things are really good.
Alrighty. Now, 10 years is a lot to catch up on. And one cool thing about you in that timeline is not too many people know this about you, but you hold a world record to your name as the Guinness Book of World Record holder for the most voices done by a male actor. How does it feel to know that your name is in a book with so many other great people and great accomplishments?
It's such a weird thing. I mean, when I was a little kid, I wanted to get a Guinness record by spitting the farthest or pogo sticking for 40 hours or something. And then as an adult, I kind of forgot about all that, and I never really cared to be competitive in this industry at all. And so when it happened, I was very surprised. And they actually called from England, and they made me prove that I was in these games. I had to actually go through my IMDb with my agent. It took about 3 months to confirm all these things, because I didn't know. I wasn't keeping track of any of it. So I still don't know if the numbers are right. But it was a happy surprise, and I have the plaque on my wall, and it's just a fun little weird thing to talk about when people come over.
Yeah, I mean, we had met Jennifer Hale back in 2012 at Canalot when they were starting to go through that whole process, and I know she's right up there for having #1 for female. So we were discussed about that. And she's like, no, that's Steve. That's Steve. Don't worry about it.
It's not a competition. We're both pretty.
No.
She's prettier than I am. Jen's a lot prettier than I am.
Yeah.
No, but it's the Guinness people are awesome though. Yeah. They're really sweet, and I really appreciate it and respect it. What they do, and I can't believe I'm part of their family now.
Alrighty. Now, the show Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo both came out over 15 years ago and are still have a loving fan base. And what is it like being that you're both also Mugen and also Spike, being in both those shows, knowing how culturally important both those shows are and being two of the lead roles in it?
It was a huge surprise to me. I mean, back then it was just roles that I was terrified to do. I wasn't used to doing leading roles yet, and I just didn't want to screw it up. The stories were so good and the animation was so great that it was really my job not to screw it up. And so I'm glad that at least people perceived that I didn't, and it worked out okay. So, but the after effect of it has been amazing. What really has been the best after effect is how it's affected the fans after all these years. And I just got out of a panel where we're having these heartfelt discussions about how it got people through hard times, and that to me is really the gift of a show like that, where if it can carry somebody through a hard time, then we're doing our job right.
That's awesome, because I mean, I've watched both, and sometimes there's moments where you just break down, so it's really cool. Now on to the world of video games. You got the chance over the many years to work for BioWare and its many universes, playing both in Dragon Age and Mass Effect, being a dwarf and then being a Krogan. So what's it like being in those universes, and then on top of that, getting to play with a lot of your fellow voice actors, like Jen being your boss there, or you almost tried to kill her at one point in Mass Effect. You know that point.
Well, I wish we got to work in the room at the same time. Unfortunately for video games, we're by ourselves most of the time, and we've got a script like this thick in front of us, and we're just trying to get through it as fast as we can, and know that the director has the context. They're holding the context for us so that we're still keeping the story true. They're wonderful people, though. They're great writing on those games, and the animation is so beautiful. I love the attention to detail that they give in those games, and so just knowing that they trust me with these roles has been a wonderful thing. It's been a humbling thing.
Like I said, I played both of them. I actually all 6, 7 of them. I just got done doing Inquisitor, so it was a ball, man. I loved every one of those games.
I want to do more Ogren personally. I get to say things like nug humpers. Fart me a lullaby. That's pretty good.
Alrighty.
I put my children to sleep every night. I farted them a lullaby.
Alrighty, and again in the video game world, Mortal Kombat series, you play as Sub-Zero, which your arch rival is played by Mr. Patrick Seitz.
Yes.
You're also Reptile, which is interesting. Yeah. So how did you approach those roles, and did you get to do a little Mortal Kombat yourself while in the booth?
I didn't actually. It was one of those things where I got the call a couple days before, and they didn't even tell me it was Mortal Kombat. It was under a code name.
Wow.
And so I went in there and thought, wow, this character sounds familiar. I'm not really sure what this is, but this sounds really strangely familiar. And because I'm not a gamer, I didn't really know the universe very well. But what I found out when I found out afterwards what it was and how important it was to people, and especially a character like Sub-Zero, it kind of gave me the little fanboy feels. And very early in my career, I actually got a call back for the role of Goro for the movie.
Wow.
and I screwed it up. But when I went to the callback, I was reading for the producers and directors, and I got really nervous, and I just did a ridiculous, terrible performance. And so it was kind of a full circle for me to come back and get to do these characters again, and to play Bo Raicho was amazing. Also, Bo Raicho, yeah, it was really fun.
Alrighty, cool. Sorry about that. Now on to the movies. Now on to movies. You recently were in the movie from DreamWorks called Boxtrolls and co-starred alongside fellow voice actor D. Bradley Baker. How was it doing that role of Boxtrolls and having fun with D? By the way, I did also watch a SourceFed interview with you and D with Trisha and Will.
Yes.
So I got a lot of info off of that.
Oh, it was so much fun, man. D, I love D. He's my brother. He's one of the greatest actors in the entire industry, in the entire world, I think. Mm-hmm. And so to get to do anything with him is always fun. We've been paired up as brothers on several shows. We started in Legend of Korra, and we've done other things besides that. But to actually create a language from scratch, which D had laid the baseline for, and we sort of did it together from that point. Mm-hmm. It was an amazing process. It was just D and I in the booth most of the time. We didn't get to work with the other actors. We're sort of segregated from them. But to get to sit in a room and just go, eggs, and we got paid for that. And we're making faces at each other and playing. It was amazing. And then to see how beautifully Leica animated this film, it was, again, humbling. And I got to go to the studio and see how it was crafted, and everything about that film was handmade. I felt like a little kid in a candy store. I wanted to move in and I wanted to work there. I wanted to put the little hair on the puppets and stuff. It brought out the little boy in me, honestly. I love their films.
That's great. I love that. Now, you have a nice two-parter script.
Oh, wow.
So, Hollywood recently has taken a great interest in voice acting in anime series in general and wishes to make them into live-action films. What is your take on it, and do you hope to one day reprise any roles that you would like to be in part of those series and be in those series?
Well, I don't ever care to be on screen. That's not my thing. The on-screen world is not as friendly as the voiceover world. It means being on set for 14, 15 hours a day and then, going to do your thing. It means wearing makeup and having your hair done and looking a certain way and being judged on how you look as much as what you do. And the reason I'm in voice acting, frankly, is because it's a much friendlier universe, and I'm lazy. I don't want to memorize either. So what I would love to do is to do voiceover cameos for things. If they have like a certain section where the character's either in a mask or animated in CGI, I would love to do that. Hint, hint. Watanabe-san. Hint, hint. Or do, the prologue or the epilogue for a film, that sort of thing. I would love to do that, but I really don't have any aspirations of being an on-camera actor.
Well, we hope one day we can hear those prologues and those openings and endings as well. So one day we'll hear Steve on the big screen, hopefully.
Okay, from your mouth to the producer's ears.
And now, are there any upcoming roles you want fans to know about at this time? We always know there's those pesky NDAs you guys got to sign. So how about anything currently you would like fans to currently watch that is available on DVD, Blu-ray, so on and so forth?
Yeah, I can't talk about a lot of things. There's a movie I just did recently, an anime movie called Expelled from Paradise. Mm-hmm. That one was really cool. And still working on Naruto. Still working on Transformers Rescue Bots.
Yay.
And Star Wars Rebels.
Yeah.
And Star Wars Rebels is kind of the big project for these next couple of years. And I play a character called Zeborelios. He's a new species to the Star Wars universe. He's a Lasat. And just getting to work anything in Star Wars is amazing.
Yeah.
And it sort of fills in the gaps before A New Hope. So as a Star Wars fan, that to me it holds a very special place. Yeah. But Rescue Bots, Transformers Rescue Bots, man, for the little kids and the big kids. Rescue Bots, roll to the rescue.
Alrighty, now, is there any way for fans to keep up with you online? I know you have a fantastic Twitter that I tweet to you a little bit, and I know you have some other stuff going on there. So is there any way for fans other than Twitter to keep up with you?
SteveBloomVoices.com. SteveBloomVoices.com. I talk good for a living. Is my website. I can also be found on Facebook, just under my name, Steve Blum, and then on Twitter @BloomSpew. It's BLUMSPEW because that's what I do more than anything else.
Yeah, that's my favorite part. Is the Blum spew part. That's my favorite.
You a lot. You probably got wet just in this interview. You're in the splash zone.
Alrighty, and is there any fun message that you would like to get out to your fans that are currently watching?
Well, I'd just like to say thank you guys for all the years of tuning in. Tune in to Toonami. We're still going strong. Mm-hmm. 12 to 3:30, I think, every Saturday night. And we're also doing a show called Toonami Pre-Flight on AdultSwim.com. Starts every Tuesday. And the guys who lead Toonami, Jason and Gil, actually do like a 1-hour special, and they take input from the fans. So we still are a very interactive community that way, and that's how you guys can get involved. So please tune into that.
right, thank you so much, Steve. This has been such an honor and a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Pleasure's mine. Really appreciate it.